Vietnam held parliament election amid new COVID-19 outbreak. And the country expands lockdown measures as infections hit record. A vaccine fund has been set up amid biggest outbreak of COVID-19. U.S. Business Chamber calls on Vietnam to ease quarantine and free up vaccines. 3 defendants jailed for organizing illegal border crossing. Hello, this is FBNC News, and we have gone through another tough week together here in Vietnam. And the country has widened lockdown measures in its industrialized north on Tuesday to combat its biggest COVID-19 outbreak so far, as authorities reported a daily record in new cases that was more than double the previous high. Vietnam has reported the presence of the highly contagious variant first identified in India. The COVID-19 variant found this time has been spreading very rapidly and widely, Health Minister Nguyễn Thanh Long said in a statement, without specifying which variant. The outbreak has spread to more than 30 of Vietnam's 63 cities and provinces. Bắc Ninh, home to production facilities of Samsung Electronics, started a curfew and other travel restrictions from Tuesday. That followed a temporary closure of 4 industrial parks, including 3 with Foxconn facilities, by authorities in neighboring Bắc Giang province. The outbreak could be a big challenge for Vietnam, which successfully contained earlier smaller outbreaks and avoided the level of economic damage suffered by its neighbors. Hundreds of factory workers are among the nearly 2,800 people infected since late April, which accounts for about half of the country's more than 6,000 overall cases. It has recorded 45 deaths. Restaurants, bars and hair salons in Hanoi were shut down on Tuesday as the capital city struggles to contain the worst outbreak of coronavirus infections since the end of April. Authorities in Hanoi said that only home deliveries would be permitted, while outdoor recreational activities as well as large gatherings in parks are banned. Now, mask-wearing Vietnamese went to the polls on last Sunday, with tens of millions expected to select a largely legislature amid a rapidly spreading COVID-19 outbreak. Fewer independent candidates than before are standing in the election for the 500-seat National Assembly, which is held every 5 years and usually after the ruling party holds its Congress to select a new leadership. The nearly 69.2 million registered voters also voted for members of the People's Councils at provincial and district levels. I hope all voters, knowing their role as the owners of the country, will join the vote to select the most trusted and worthy candidates to represent their voices, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ said ahead of the election. Official data show that 99% of Vietnam's 67.5 million registered voters participated in the 2016 elections. The ballot is anonymous, but each voter's name, age, occupation, ethnicity, and address are posted outside polling centers. The election was taking place as Vietnam battles a new COVID-19 outbreak that is spreading rapidly, infecting more than 6,000 people since it emerged in late April. Before queuing, the voters had their temperature taken at a nearby table where free masks and hand sanitizers were offered, with a loudspeaker broadcasting advice to keep a safe distance. Huệ said Sunday's vote was the first amid the most dangerous coronavirus outbreak that has spread to nearly half of the number of provinces, with many of them under lockdown. He said organizers have taken measures to ensure the election would take place safely. Election results are typically announced after about 2 weeks. Vietnam's government on Wednesday approved the creation of a special fund to drive an effective vaccination program against COVID-19 as the country battles its largest outbreak of the new coronavirus. The fund will be responsible for arranging financial resources and materials for the procurement, production, and the use of vaccines, the government said in a statement. It made no mention of the size of the fund, but the Finance Ministry has said last week Vietnam intended to earmark $1.1 billion to acquire 150 million COVID-19 vaccine doses for its population. Vietnam, with a population of around 98 million, began its vaccination campaign in March. It has so far received nearly 2.9 million doses of vaccines and around 1 million have been administered. The government said the new fund could seek contributions from private organizations and individuals for its operations. A research center under Vietnam's health ministry is in talks with Russia to produce the Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine in the country, local media reported recently. The Russian partner would initially transfer semi-finished products along with instructions to the Ministry of Health Polyvac Center to produce around 50 million doses a year. An official at Polyvac confirmed to Reuters that the talks were underway but declined to give further details. In a later stage, Polyvac would produce the vaccine from scratch, the report said, citing an unnamed Polyvac source. The report said Vietnam was also in talks to buy the Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine from Russia for domestic use before any domestic production of the shot. In March, Vietnam approved Sputnik V for use against COVID-19, the second coronavirus shot to be approved in the Southeast Asian country after the AstraZeneca vaccine. Vietnam's Ministry of Finance said this week it planned to set up a 25.2 trillion dong or $1.1 billion fund to acquire 150 million COVID-19 vaccine doses for its population. Now, in the meantime, the American Chamber of Commerce, AmCham, in Hanoi recently urged Vietnam to ease its lengthy quarantine period for vaccinated travelers and allow the private sector to help procure COVID-19 vaccines for their employees in the Southeast Asian country. Vietnam effectively closed its borders to normal outside travel in March 2020 and has only allowed its citizens or foreign experts to enter the country, provided they undergo 3 weeks of quarantine at a hotel or military-run center, even if they have been fully vaccinated. AmCham encourages authorities to implement less burdensome entry procedures for fully vaccinated business people, foreign experts, and maybe even tourists, AmCham Hanoi Executive Director Adam Sikov said in a statement. 81% of AmCham Hanoi members would bring more people to Vietnam if the mandatory quarantine period was reduced from its current 21 days down to 7, the statement said, citing a survey. Vietnam has received global praise for its success in containing COVID-19 thanks to a program of targeted mass testing, contact tracing, and a centralized quarantine system. But a new outbreak that has infected more than 6,000 people since late April has prompted calls for Vietnam's government to accelerate its vaccination program. Vietnam has placed orders for more vaccines from several suppliers and received around 2.5 million doses via the COVAX sharing scheme. Officials have said they expect to receive more vaccines by the end of the year, but not enough to achieve community immunity. You're watching FBNC News. Now, first batches of lychee in the 2021 crop of the northern province of Bắc Giang left for Japan on flights arranged by national flag carrier Vietnam Airlines on early May 27th. The flights carrying close to 10 tons of the tropical fruit are bound for 2 major Japanese cities of Tokyo and Osaka. In-flight safety and COVID-19 preventive measures were seriously enforced to ensure product quality and prevent the spread of the disease. Additionally, Vietnam Airlines has joined hands with Bắc Giang to increase flights in an effort to ensure domestic supply and provide optimal transport for the province's goods and farm produce in particular. The carrier is operating cargo transport services on its international routes to facilitate trade and productions of localities nationwide. This year, Bắc Giang has around 28,000 hectares of lychees with an estimated output of more than 180,000 tons, an increase of 15,000 tons year on year. This includes 45,000 tons of early ripening lychees harvested on an estimated area of 6,000 hectares, along with 135,000 tons of lychee from the main crop on an area of more than 22,000 hectares. The People's Court in the northern border province of Cao Bằng sentenced 3 men to prison with terms ranging from 4 to 5 years on the charge of organizing illegal exit at the trial on May 26. According to the indictment, on November 10, 2020, the 3 defendants, all from Bắc Rinh Ward, Quảng Trung Commune, Trung Khánh District, used motorbikes to take 5 Cambodian women from Trà Linh Town to the border area in Bảo Biển Hamlet of Tri Phương Commune, Trung Khánh District, with the intention of crossing the border illegally. They were stopped and detained by local police and border guards. The trial was held at the interprovincial bus terminal to raise local people's awareness about entry and exit regulations. Now this has come to an end of FBNC News this week. Thank you for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Everyone, please stay safe.